number of problems we have is many. Over and over again, we talk about resources, we talk about needs that are not met, whether that be people who don't have enough food, people who don't have residence, growing number of homeless people. We talk about why do we not have resources to be able to assist. And as always, the responses we get from the government and officials and so forth and so on is that it's a difficult question, that we have already so much debt, we have facing significant problems within our nation, and the expenditures of that are associated with COVID and stimulus and all the other things that were necessary in order to keep the nation afloat is, of course, is the reason why we are failing to be able to assist all those people who are currently suffering. And certainly this argument would have been valid, and it probably is to a certain degree, that all of those issues that are happening right now due to the COVID compound the existing problems. But it's not like 2 years ago we did not have rising homeless population. It's not like 2 years ago we did not have people who did not have enough healthcare. It's not like 2 years ago we did not have those issues appearing and people being forced into the street or not being able to feed themselves. But you know, one problem was ongoing and is going to be ongoing, which is how our government spends money. So today I'm going to talk about several different examples of how we spend money, and I hope that you will take me on a face value and don't think that I'm being absolutely ridiculous, because there are certain things that I just don't understand. One of the things that I do not understand is why do we, or have we, spent $865,000 in order to make mountain lions to walk on treadmills. Yes, the treadmills, you know, the people exercise on. So we decided to pay some scientists about $865,000 in order to make the mountain lions walk on them. And now, while you're thinking about the mountain lions, right, like, let me say something more. If for whatever reason it seems like that our government and scientific community really loves treadmills, so what else have we put on a treadmill, you would ask? Well, it probably will not come to you as a surprise that we put shrimps on a treadmill. Yes, that particular cost was significantly higher. It came at the price tag of $3 million. And just as you are probably, as I was, trying to figure out why the hell would anybody ever consider putting a shrimp with its little claw thingamajigs into on a treadmill, we also somehow figured out a way to fund or make government fund for a tune of $1.5 million, putting fish on a treadmill. Kid you not. For some reason, we love treadmills and we love to put creatures on them and we love to pay for them. Now, as you're probably thinking about the scientific research and benefits of all of those things, another very wasteful spending that comes to my mind has nothing to do with treadmills, but it has to do with athleticism. It was considered or called hamster fights. So what did our scientists do? Well, they took hamsters, some of the hamsters, injected them with steroids, right? And then they took non-injected steroid hamsters and they put them in a cage together and they made them fight. And I think that project cost us roughly around $3 million too. and I don't know if you knew about it. The only reason that project got shut down is because animal rights activists said, what the hell do you think you're doing, right? And the stupidity of this and the extension of how we spend money is only overshadowed by other stuff in other places in which we do some absolutely unexplainable things. So next, let's talk about how do people spend money, right? And specifically within the government. And I'm not going to talk about many instances. I'll just talk about two, Agriculture Department and also United States Post Office. So they did a random sample, I think it was 2015 or 2014, of 300 employees, right? And over 6 month period of their expenditures, and over 15% of them have done illegal spendings, and illegal spendings, that's like about 45 people, including things like Ozzy Osbourne tickets, and then lingeries and bartender school tuition and cash advances, and all of those things have been approved, right? Like as a teacher, I do some travel and I do some approval and stuff like that, right? Like they go over it with a fine comb. Here are people who are able to get their tattoos written off. And then alongside with them, United States Postal Office, they done an investigation of 274 employees, right? And again, this is accounts that have been paid out, and 173 of them have used those monies inappropriately, in not in accordance of what it was intended to do. All the similar stuff, right? Like cash payments, cash advances, and strippers and entertainment and so forth and so on. And this is just ridiculous, right? Like whether it is approving scientific research for shrimps or hamster fights, or allowing people to pay for it. And then no wonder we don't have any money, right? Like in a larger organizational scale, like there's so many different problems that we have. So for example, it jumps at me to just think about it, right? Okay, so we have people who don't have food. We have people who don't receive enough assistance. We have people who don't get enough food stamps. But there's a city that over 2,000 dead people actually are still continuously receiving food stamps because nobody is monitoring them, which means money is being given out. And that notion is just absolutely ridiculous. If you combine that with spending 104 or 105 million dollars in order to build an airport and a harbor for a town that does not have access to the either harbor or the airport, no wonder we do not have money. No wonder we do not have resources. And all of these things take place, and they continuously take place year after year after year. And in part, mostly because our elected officials don't read what they sign. And as long as they don't, we're going to have wasteful spending, and we're not going to have money to spend on the things that actually ought to be spent on.